Monday 14th of November marks the start of Anti-Bullying Week 2022, and we've got some really nice resources in Purple Mash that you could use as part of your work with the children that week. The resources have been gathered together into a folder which you can find from the front page of Purple Mash. It's in the featured panel. If you scroll down here, you can find Anti-Bullying Week here. Click on that. Or if you don't have the featured panel on your screen because your screen isn't wide enough, it sometimes vanishes to make room for the browsing area. So in that case, you could type in anti-bullying into the search bar at the top here, and you'll see the folder here, Anti-Bullying Week 2022. Let's dive in and take a look at what's there. So the first thing you'll see at the top here is a PDF file, which is the Anti-Bullying Alliance's pack for 2022. Below that, you've got the resources which we've made available in Purple Mash that support the themes developed within the ABA's pack for this year. Let's have a look through some of them. So this is the PDF from the Anti-Bullying Alliance. It contains the introduction, ideas about what the theme is for this year, the reaching out to others to try and tackle bullying. Curriculum links are within here. There's an assembly plan that they've created and a lesson plan that's been created as well as cross-curriculum ideas and other things that you can do. And what we've done within Purple Mash is taken some of the ideas from here in the cross-curricular ideas section and other parts of this document and made writing templates out of them that you could use. So let's have a look at those. So the first one that we've got here is the What Makes a Good Friend. And within here, if you open this up as a teacher, you'll see it in teacher view, which means it's like this. And you'll notice there's a few little things like padlocks on here. And all that these are showing you is that that writing box here is locked in position. The children can't move it around on the screen. When a child opens this, they'll see it in child view. So if you set it as a to-do, they'll see it in this way. Click in the top left-hand corner to toggle or swap between teacher view and child view. And this is how it will appear to a child. What could a child do with this? Well, if they click into one of the text boxes where it says write in here, they can then type what makes a good friend about friendships. And on the left, we've got some writing prompts. So click on the friendship button here, and here's some prompts. What is friendship? Why is friendship important? And if a child has clicked into the typing box and they click add this text at the bottom, it will put that in as a sentence starter, as you can see, that they can then continue typing from. Then they could continue into one of the boxes here about friendship qualities. Open up here and there's another prompt. Click add this text and it starts the writing, gives them a starter for them to continue. We've also got clip art in here that children can drag into different parts of the screen if they want to add some imagery to it, in which they can pop in the usual way and change angles and sizes and things. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other activities that are available, and then to finish off we'll show you how you can perhaps customize them or make them more accessible for children who've maybe got barriers to writing or typing. So the next activity we've got here, thinking about a friend and what makes a good friend. So again, we've got the writing boxes here and plenty of ideas within here to give the children ideas about, what does listening mean? What does supportive mean if a friendship supports each other? So you could use these as topics for discussion as well as for the children to write about as well. Then we've got a pair of socks. Now, the ABA have suggested that Monday could be used as an odd sock day where we celebrate differences. So the idea is that odd socks link to the idea that we're all different as well. And in here, the children can unleash their inner designers by creating some interesting sock designs in here, and that you could perhaps print some of these out and use them for displays around the school, perhaps to give a visual element to this year's theme. And yeah, so a really nice little activity there on that. Then we've got who can I talk to? this is obviously a really, really important thing, that children know who they can turn to, who they can reach out to if they are being bullied, or if they know somebody who's being bullied and they want to get support. You've got to reach out for the support. So again, we've got the possible images in here that children can drag to add into the clip art. From the clip art, drag them onto the boxes here, and then the spaces for the writing to go with an image. We've got the think abouts in here about, what's a support network, where might they be, and the importance of talking as well in here. So that's a really important activity there for the children. Let's take a look at the next one, and then we'll have a think about customizing these. So this one is an opportunity to get creative and write a poem. We've got the text box here, just one big text box that children can write freely in there, and a title box as well, and a nice background. So how could you customize these? Well, there's several ways that you can customize them and make them accessible. Firstly, you can change the writing prompts which are in here. You can edit them, or you can add your own to them. So as I'm in Teacher View and I've got all the tools available in here, let's take a look at how that works. So first of all, on this reach out here, you can see the title at the top here where it says reach out. This is what appears on the list. I could type in here, I might just want to put an exclamation mark on the end, and you can see that's edited the title in the bar here on the left. I can then click into any of these boxes and edit in a similar sort of way here, and that will change what's available in front of the children as the writing tips. If I want to add some text to send, I could put that into here. So I could just write in here, reach out. So when the children click send this text or add this text, it will put reach out in there, and they could perhaps use that as a start of a line, maybe. I'm just thinking. I can also add in here extra items onto this list by clicking the plus button at the bottom here. So as you can see, it's opened up a blank think about box here. So we could put something in here like who could you reach out to? And the writing tips could be, we could say perhaps an adult at school. Add another tip, adult at home. So you could give a list of people that the children could write to, just giving them different ideas here for who they could reach out to. And then the text to send might be, I might not want to put anything in here because I'm just putting things that could support the other ones, or I might want to put reach out again. I could, if I want to, add a voice text to this as well. So I'm really customizing it now. Clicking onto the microphone up here, I might need to allow permission for this. But what I can do then is click on this microphone here and perhaps read the content of this to them. Who could you reach out to? Perhaps an adult at school. Maybe an adult at home. Maybe you want to reach out to a friend and talk. But whatever you do, reach out. Click the button at the bottom to send that text reach out into your poem and add some extra thoughts to it. Now that I've customized this, let's look at it from a child's point of view. So a child would see this here. So they've got the speech button here where they can listen to what I've just recorded. They've got the text here that I've added in, and they've got the reach out where they can click into the writing box, click add this text, and it adds it in, as you can see. Children can, if they want to, change the font that they're working in. So by going up here, they can alter the font size. They might want to make their writing bigger so it can be seen on the wall, perhaps, and so on. Other things that you can do. So you can certainly customize this, but there are other things that you can add to this to make it accessible for children. So you might have children who can't use a keyboard, or who have dyslexic traits and find spelling such a barrier that they'd rather record their voice speaking. We can do that as well. If I swap back into Teacher View here, what I can do is, you see the little sound button up here in the top left hand corner. if I drag that on here, it makes this sound button in the text. Now, a child would be able to click onto that, and they would be able to click the notes here where it says choose sound and press record. And then they would be able to record their words and their thoughts as a sound file onto this document without having to actually type anything. So that's one possibility that you can do, is adding the sound button on there to give the children the opportunity to record their voice rather than type. You can also perhaps encourage children to do this. If you're using Windows computers and it's enabled, you could use speech recognition. And to enable this, I'm just going to press the Windows button on my keyboard and hold it down, and then while I'm holding it down, tap the H key. Reach out! Exclamation mark. Don't suffer alone. That's not quite going to plan. I think it's because I'm recording in my microphone as well. It might be struggling. I'll try it one more time. Reach out. Don't suffer alone, new line. Even if you see somebody else suffering, comma, reach out! Exclamation mark. I hope you're getting the idea of it. It does a pretty good job of turning your text into your words into text. You can put, normally new line will work rather than put the name of an animal in there. But it's again, if you experiment with that in school, it's something that can provide great accessibility for children and really open up activities. If you use iPads, there's something similar on there. If you look at the bottom of the keyboard on the iPad, next to it there's a little microphone. Click that microphone and it will open up speech recognition on the iPad as well. If you've done any customizing of activities like this, you would need to share it with the children and save it first. Now, I've customized this, as you can see. I've added an extra line on here to think about, and I've added the sound button. What I need to do then to share it is click the menu in the top left hand corner here, click share. It'll ask me to save it, so I'm going to call this reach out. I'll say save it, and then once I've saved it, I can click to set it as a to do and choose the class or the group that I want to set it to in the usual kind of way. So hopefully what we've seen there is how you can firstly customize the activities and how you can maybe just have a couple of ideas for how to make them a little bit more accessible as well. Lastly, we do have another activity in here, which is a chapter book. It's a text for Anti-Bullying Week here, and it is called No Greater Treasure, and there's 7 chapters to it. It's a lovely story about a child who's involved in go-karting and all the emotional ups and downs in dealing with other people in a competitive environment that go on there. So it's a great story for talking about those situations where maybe tempers flare, jealousy arises, and it can lead on to other things. How can we perhaps deal with those things and nip them in the bud before they get a bit too serious? So I hope that you've found that useful. We've looked at quite a few different ideas here that we've got in Purple Mash in connection with the Anti-Bullying Alliance's activities and resources for this year. I hope you'll have a great anti-bullying week and that your children will find it really, really helpful. Thanks ever so much for watching. Goodbye.